Hello, fellow numismatists, and welcome, treasure hunters. Today, we're diving into something that might be hiding in your pocket, piggy bank, or that jar of change on your dresser. While most of us walk around with pennies weighing down our pockets without a second thought, some of these seemingly ordinary coins could be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars. I'm talking about three specific Lincoln cents from the 1990s and 2000s that have fascinating stories, incredible errors, and values that will make your jaw drop. These aren't ancient coins locked away in museum vaults. These are modern pennies that you could literally find in your change today. So before you cash in that coin jar at the grocery store, you might want to hear about the 2006, 1994, and 1997 pennies that could change your life. Let's start by taking a closer look at the remarkable 2006 Lincoln cent. The 2006 penny might seem like an unlikely candidate for a valuable coin. After all, it's less than 20 years old, and billions were minted. But within this massive mintage hides what many experts consider one of the most significant modern errors: the 2006 double-die obverse Lincoln cent. This coin story begins at the Philadelphia Mint during a routine production run. The minting process involves striking blanks, or planchets, with dies that bear the negative impression of the design. Typically, the process goes smoothly, but occasionally manufacturing errors occur. In the case of the 2006 double-die penny, a misalignment during the hubbing process created a die with a doubled impression. When this flawed die was used to strike pennies, it produced coins with noticeably doubled features on the obverse, or front side. What makes this error particularly fascinating is the clarity of the doubling. Under even modest magnification, you can see distinct separation in the lettering of Liberty and In God We Trust, as well as in the date. The doubling appears most prominently on the L and I of Liberty, where you can see clear separation between the primary and secondary impressions. This isn't just a slight overlap. It's a dramatic, unmistakable doubling that jumps out at trained eyes. How can you tell if you have one of these rarities? First, check the mint mark. The double die error is found exclusively on Philadelphia minted cents, which either have no mint mark or a small p. Next, grab a magnifying glass or loupe and examine the lettering. The doubled impression will be most visible in Liberty and In God We Trust. Be especially attentive to the 06 in the date, where doubling is often quite pronounced. What separates this error from common machine doubling or strike doubling, which have little to no value, is the consistency of the doubling across different areas of the design. While strike doubling might affect isolated areas and show uneven doubling, the 2006 double die shows consistent, clear separation throughout the affected areas. It's a true double die, created when the die itself was made, not just a slip during the striking process. The value of this penny varies dramatically based on condition. In circulated condition, a 2006 double die penny might fetch between $20 and $50. In uncirculated condition, these values climb dramatically. A gem uncirculated example graded MS 65 can command $200 to $400. The most pristine examples, those graded MS 67 or higher, have sold for over $1,000 at auction. One particularly spectacular specimen, graded MS 68 RD, meaning it has full original red luster, sold for an astonishing $3,000 at a specialized auction in 2019. What makes this error particularly intriguing to collectors is its recency. Most highly valuable error coins come from earlier periods of minting when quality control wasn't as stringent. The fact that such a dramatic error occurred in 2006, within an era of supposedly improved quality control measures at the U.S. Mint, adds to its mystique and collectability. There's also an interesting wrinkle to the 2006 double die story that makes it especially exciting for treasure hunters. Unlike many rare coins that were identified immediately and pulled from circulation, many of these double dies entered circulation before the error was widely recognized. This means that even today, there are likely thousands of these valuable pennies still mixing with ordinary coins in general circulation. Every time you receive change, you could potentially be handed a coin worth hundreds of times its face value. The 2006 double die cent also belongs to a prestigious lineage of famous double die pennies, including the legendary 1955 double die cent, which can sell for tens of thousands of dollars in high grades, and the 1972 double die cent, another highly sought-after error. Collectors who specialize in error coins often attempt to assemble complete collections of significant doubled dies, making the 2006 variety an essential addition to these specialized collections. Another factor that makes the 2006 double die penny particularly notable is the location of the doubling. While some double dies show doubling in areas that require significant magnification to detect, the 2006 variety displays its doubling on the most prominent design elements, including the motto and date. This visibility adds significantly to its collector appeal, as the error can be appreciated without specialized equipment. I should mention that there are actually several different varieties of 2006 double die cents, classified according to the specific characteristics and degree of doubling they exhibit. The most valuable is known as FS 101 or DDO 001 in attribution guides, showing the most pronounced doubling. Secondary varieties exist with less dramatic doubling, but these still command premiums over face value. One of the most fascinating aspects of coins like the 2006 double die cent is how they challenge our perception of value. Here's a coin that was minted with a face value of 1 cent, made from a copper-plated zinc composition worth perhaps 2 cents in metal, yet because of a manufacturing error, it can be worth thousands. This transformation from everyday object to treasure exemplifies the unusual economics of numismatics. For those of you wondering about authentication, it's worth noting that significant finds should be verified by reputable third-party grading services such as PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation. These organizations can confirm the double die attribution and assign a grade that significantly impacts the coin's market value. The cost of grading, typically $20 to $30 for modern coins, is well worth it for genuine examples of the 2006 double die, as authentication can increase marketability and value. Now let's turn our attention to our final featured coin, the 1997 Lincoln cent. While it might not seem particularly old or special at first glance, this penny holds a fascinating place in American numismatic history as home to one of the most valuable modern die varieties, the 1997 double die obverse. The story of the 1997 double die penny begins, as many great numismatic discoveries do, with keen-eyed collectors noticing something unusual. In late 1997, reports began circulating about pennies from the Philadelphia Mint that showed distinct doubling on the obverse. Unlike strike doubling, which occurs during the striking process and has minimal value, this was true hub doubling, created when the die itself was manufactured with a misalignment. What happened at the Philadelphia Mint was a perfect storm of circumstances that led to one of the most pronounced double dies of the modern era. During the hubbing process, when the working die was being created, there was a slight misalignment between impressions. This created a die with doubled features that would transfer to every coin it struck. The most prominent doubling appears in the word Liberty, particularly on the letters L, I, and B, where you can see clear separation between the primary and secondary impressions. The doubling is also quite pronounced on the date, especially on the 9 and 7 of 1997. With even modest magnification, you can see what appears to be a shadow or echo of these digits slightly offset from the main impression. This isn't subtle doubling that requires expert eyes to spot. It's visible enough that even beginning collectors can identify it with a basic magnifying glass. What makes the 1997 double die particularly interesting is that it occurred during a period when the U.S. Mint had implemented multiple quality control measures specifically designed to catch such errors. The fact that these double dies not only were created but also made it past inspection and into circulation speaks to the challenges of mass production, even with modern technology. It's a reminder that even in our era of precision manufacturing, fascinating errors can and do occur. The value of the 1997 double die cent varies significantly based on condition, but even in circulated grades, these coins command impressive premiums. A circulated example in fine to very fine condition might sell for $25 to $50. In uncirculated condition, the values climb dramatically. A Mint State 63 example could fetch $100 to $150, while gem specimens in MS 65 or better can command $300 to $500. At the highest levels of preservation, MS 67 or better with full red color, these coins have sold for over $1,000 at auction. One of the most remarkable aspects of the 1997 double die penny is its distribution pattern. Unlike some major mint errors that were caught early and thus exist in very limited quantities, the double die pennies entered circulation through normal channels before the variety was widely recognized. This means that a significant number of these valuable coins mixed with regular pennies and were distributed throughout the country. This distribution pattern creates a fascinating treasure hunt aspect that continues to this day. There are almost certainly 1997 double die cents sitting in jars of change, penny rolls, and circulation that have never been identified. Every time you receive a 1997 penny in change, there's a legitimate chance, however small, that you might be holding a coin worth hundreds of times its face value. The 1997 double die has another interesting quirk that adds to its collectability. It exists in multiple die stages. As the working die was used to strike thousands of coins, it began to wear, and the doubling became less pronounced. Specialists classify these as Stage 1 through Stage 3 varieties, with Stage 1 showing the most dramatic doubling and commanding the highest premiums. This creates a subspecialty within the variety, with collectors seeking examples from each die stage. There's also a fascinating story about the discovery of this variety that illustrates how the numismatic community operates. The first published report of the 1997 double die appeared in Coin World magazine in December 1997, submitted by a collector who found the coin in ordinary circulation. Within weeks, dealers were offering bounties for additional specimens, and prices quickly escalated as the scale and significance of the variety became apparent. This discovery story underscores an important aspect of modern coin collecting: the role of the collector community in identifying and establishing the value of new varieties. Unlike ancient coins, whose rarity and significance were often established centuries ago, modern varieties like the 1997 double die represent ongoing discoveries that any observant collector could potentially make. For those interested in hunting for these coins, there are a few tips to keep in mind. First, focus on 1997 pennies from the Philadelphia Mint, which have no mint mark. Denver minted cents from 1997, with the D mint mark, don't show this specific doubling. Second, use at least a 5x magnifying glass to examine the word Liberty and the date. The doubling appears as a distinct separation rather than a blurring or thickening of the design. Finally, be aware that there are several minor double die varieties from 1997 as well, but the major variety, cataloged as FS 101, shows the most dramatic and valuable doubling. What makes the 1997 double die penny particularly significant in the broader context of numismatics is how it demonstrates the continued relevance of traditional coin collecting in a digital age. At a time when many hobbies were moving online, the discovery of this variety reminded collectors that careful observation of physical objects could still lead to exciting discoveries. It's a tangible connection to the hands-on tradition of numismatics that has existed for centuries. The 1997 double die also highlights an interesting economic aspect of coin collecting: how errors and varieties can create value that transcends both the face value of the coin and even its metal content. A 1997 penny has a face value of 1 cent and contains less than a cent's worth of copper plating over a zinc core. Yet this manufacturing anomaly transforms it into an object worth hundreds of dollars to the right collector. For those who find the hunt for these coins appealing, there's good news. The odds, while long, are better than most forms of treasure hunting. Estimates suggest that perhaps 20,000 to 50,000 examples of the 1997 double die cent were minted, many of which remain unidentified in circulation. This creates a realistic possibility that dedicated searchers could actually find one, unlike many other valuable coins that are effectively unobtainable outside of auction houses and specialized dealers. Before we wrap up our discussion of these three remarkable modern pennies, I'd like to offer a bit of perspective on what makes them so special in the context of American numismatics. The Lincoln cent is America's longest-running coin design, having been struck continuously since 1909. Throughout its history, Certain years and varieties have emerged as particularly significant to collectors: the 1909 SVDB, the 1914 D, the 1922 plain, the 1955 double die, and others. So the next time someone tells you that a penny isn't worth picking up, you might want to think twice. That humble 1-cent piece could be a 1997 double die, a 1994 double strike, or a 2006 double die worth hundreds of times its face value. In the world of numismatics, even the most modest coins can hide extraordinary secrets and value. Thank you for joining me on this journey through 3 remarkable modern pennies. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone who's just discovered the fascinating world of coin collecting, I hope you'll take a moment to check your change. You never know what treasures might be hiding in plain sight. Now let's move on to our second featured coin, one that tells an incredible story of mint error and scarcity: the 1994 double-struck Lincoln cent. While the 2006 penny showed us how errors in die preparation can create valuable varieties, the 1994 error demonstrates what happens when the actual striking process goes dramatically wrong and creates numismatic gold in the process. The year 1994 was unremarkable for most Lincoln cent production. Between the Philadelphia and Denver mints, over 13 billion pennies were struck that year, a staggering number that would suggest these coins should be among the most common in existence. Yet hidden within this massive mintage is one of the most spectacular error types: the double-struck cent. To understand what makes this error so special, we need to grasp the basics of how coins are made. Normally, a blank planchet is positioned between 2 dies and struck once with tremendous force, creating the images on both sides simultaneously. The finished coin is then ejected, and the next blank moves into position. But occasionally, through a combination of mechanical malfunction and statistical inevitability, when producing billions of coins, something extraordinary happens. In the case of the 1994 double-struck cent, the coin failed to fully eject after its initial strike. It remained partially within the striking chamber when the next blank was supposed to enter. The machinery then struck again, creating a coin with 2 partial or complete impressions, often dramatically offset from each other. The result is a coin that looks almost surreal, with 2 partial portraits of Lincoln, double dates, and sometimes even portions of the reverse design impressed onto the obverse due to the rotation between strikes. What makes the 1994 double-struck cents particularly valuable is the dramatic nature of the error. The most desirable examples show 2 nearly complete images with significant rotation or displacement between strikes. These dramatic double strikes create an unmistakable visual impact that even non-collectors can appreciate. Lincoln appears to have a ghostly twin emerging from his shoulder, or 2 dates float in different areas of the coin. These errors escape the mint's quality control precisely because they're so unusual. The automated inspection systems were designed to catch common flaws, not these statistical anomalies that require multiple coinciding failures. While we don't know exactly how many 1994 double strikes exist, the number is certainly in the hundreds rather than thousands, making them genuinely scarce. The value of these dramatic error coins varies widely based on several factors. The most important consideration is the visual impact. How dramatic and obvious is the double striking? Coins with 2 nearly complete and clearly visible impressions command the highest prices. A spectacular 1994 double-struck cent with 90% offset between strikes might sell for $200 to $400 in uncirculated condition. Even circulated examples with dramatic doubling can easily bring $100 or more. Another factor affecting value is whether the coin includes what error specialists call brockage, where part of the second strike impresses the reverse design onto the obverse, creating a mirror image InQ's impression. These complex errors represent multiple failures in the minting process and are particularly sought after by specialists. A 1994 cent with dramatic double striking and brockage elements might fetch $500 or more at specialized auctions. The condition naturally plays a crucial role in determining value. Since these are error coins, they're evaluated somewhat differently than normal issues. While grade matters, the primary consideration is the clarity and preservation of the error itself. A slightly worn coin with an exceptionally dramatic double strike will typically be worth more than a pristine example with a minor or subtle error. What makes hunting for these 1994 double-struck cents particularly exciting is that they weren't identified and removed from circulation systematically. Unlike some famous error coins that were caught early in the distribution process, many of these dramatic errors entered circulation and mixed with the billions of normal cents. This means that even today, nearly 30 years later, these valuable pennies could potentially be found in pocket change, coin jars, or bank rolls. There's a fascinating story from 2015 that illustrates this possibility perfectly. A collector in Michigan was sorting through rolls of pennies from his local bank when he discovered a spectacular 1994 double-struck cent showing nearly 80% displacement between strikes. He purchased the roll for 50 cents and ended up selling the error coin for $350 to a specialized error collector. Stories like this keep the dream alive for many collectors who still hunt through bank rolls and change jars looking for these elusive treasures. What elevates the 1994 double-struck cent beyond mere novelty status is its educational value. These errors provide a tangible window into the minting process, allowing collectors and researchers to understand exactly how coins are made by examining what happens when the process goes wrong. They're physical evidence of the mechanical nature of minting, making them historically significant beyond their market value. Another aspect that makes these errors particularly collectible is their individuality. Unlike regular production coins where millions of virtually identical examples exist, each double-struck error is unique. The specific positioning, rotation, and pressure of the second strike creates a one-of-a-kind piece that no other coin exactly matches. This uniqueness appeals strongly to collectors who value coins with individual character and stories. The collecting community has developed detailed classification systems for these multiple strike errors. Specialists differentiate between off-center double strikes, indented double strikes, pivot double strikes, and several other varieties. Each type tells a slightly different story about what went wrong in the minting process. The 1994 examples are particularly prized as they represent some of the most dramatic modern examples available to collectors at relatively accessible price points. For those interested in authenticating a potential 1994 double-struck cent, third-party grading services offer specialized designations for error coins. Both PCGS and NGC have error experts who can confirm the authenticity and nature of the error, providing detailed descriptions of the specific characteristics of each piece. For errors potentially worth hundreds of dollars, professional authentication is highly recommended, as sophisticated counterfeits of error coins do occasionally appear on the market. One final note that makes these 1994 error pennies particularly interesting to modern collectors: they represent one of the last generations of solid copper-plated zinc cents. The composition of the Lincoln cent has changed several times throughout its history, and these 1994 issues contain the modern layer of copper over a zinc core. This composition creates unique characteristics when errors occur, as the copper plating can sometimes separate or show distinctive patterns around the areas of multiple strikes, adding another layer of visual interest to these already fascinating coins.